Good, good morning. It's not the Earlverse today. It's the Earlyverse. And we're here to talk AEW Dynamite, the fallout still from this week's very controversial episode where the Young Bucks showed the backstage footage of Jungle Boy Jack Perry and CM Punk getting into a fight. And the feedback has not been very good for AEW. Of course, it didn't come off great that during the Okada-Pac match, when the Young Bucks came in to help Okada, that some people, light chance of CM Punk could be heard throughout the arena. Not a great look. And there's been a lot of blowback on the segment. I personally didn't think it was that bad, to be honest. I thought that, if anything, it was a good way to kind of bring in Jack Perry. You got to figure at some point next week on Dynasty, the next pay-per-view, that good morning, Chris Mack. Jungle Boy Jack Perry has a heel will come in to cost FTR the match, thus establishing a new faction of Jack Perry, Okada, and the Bucks. That's a good faction. I don't mind seeing that. And I'm, although I'm an AEW mark, hit the like button if you can. I'm okay with AEW airing the footage because all I've heard for, almost 7-8 months now is how CM Punk was the victim and he choked Jack Perry out, making Jack Perry his bitch. And if anything, it showed that CM Punk started it. He pushed him. He jumped on him. Clearly, Jack Perry didn't know there was going to be a fight. Now, you might argue he should have, because Jack Perry's talked some shit. Jack Perry kind of instigated it with the real glass comment. That was some shit that didn't have to be said live, maybe backstage, in the parlance of backstage banter between the boys. And I've heard Jack Perry behind the scenes can be a little prickly. And CM Punk's an old school vet. He ain't going to respond well to some younger guy who he probably sees as being only in the business because of who his dad was and probably had connections and didn't have to work on the independent scene like he did. I get CM Punk's mindset, but I think CM Punk was in the wrong here. Now, I'm not a Jack Perry fan. I'm not a hater, but, it's not like I'm sticking up for Jack Perry because he's my number one guy. And I've said this before on streams, I've done my internal polling of, I probably have about 10 or so friends in AEW. And I've asked them off the air or just when they're at the Comedy Store, hey, CM Punk, good guy, bad guy. They've all said the same thing. He's kind of a dick. And some of these people who've said that are like the nicest people I know. They're like my nicest friends in or out of comedy or wrestling. So when you have that kind of internal polling like I do, I think that that leads credence to CM Punk was the aggressor here. Because on the Ariel Helwani podcast, he kind of came off as I tried to do everything right, and they came at me Um, I'm not sure if that's the case. Um, I think they're both in the wrong. I think Jack Perry shouldn't have said the "we use real glass" comment. And, obviously, I don't think what he said was enough for CM Punk to attack him backstage. I mean, it was kind of interesting footage to see Samoa Joe kind of nervous before his match. You could see him pacing, and you see Malachi Black, out of character. I know someone said that was Bryan Danielson, but I believe it was Malachi Black at the end of the video. Um, and I don't have a problem with the AEW airing the footage. Did it have the desired effect of embarrassing CM Punk? Probably not. But I do think it made him not look in the greatest light. Um, and I've seen certain other wrestling shows say, well, AEW shouldn't have wasted TV time. They should have gone on Pat McAfee's show to rebut. But Pat McAfee is a cuck to the WWE. That's a fact. And so, outside of MJF, I don't really recall Ariel Helwani interviewing many guys from AEW either. So I don't think that was a choice. Uh, See, I don't think it made AEW look weak. I think it made CM Punk look weak. Because he went on Ariel Helwani, Boulder, and basically was like, I tried to do everything right. I'm the good guy here. And I think that tape shows him not being the good guy. And then, I think it was a couple minutes before or maybe after the Will Ospreay zinger on Triple H. Triple H went on the Pat McAfee show. And as soon as he said the line of, I don't want guys in the WWE who don't grind, I instantly, like 2 seconds later, thought, uh, oh, he's talking about Will Ospreay. Now, some people are like, yeah, the line about grinding on Stephanie was crossing the line. I love how people say that was crossing the line, but let's go back to some of the sketches DX did. Wet t-shirts, deep throating bananas, so I don't buy into that. That was too much. What up, Shawnetta? Good morning. I rarely do a stream this early, but I'm up for whatever reason. And I was watching a few wrestling podcasts. I don't listen to comedy podcasts, but I do listen to Busted Open and Brian Alvarez and Meltzer. Cornette I listen to, and obviously Eric Bischoff. And I have strong opinions on this Wednesday's Dynamite. A lot of people were saying AEW was basically promoting WWE, but they were rebutting. I see nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have topics here. I mean, I started this stream, Shawnetta, to talk AEW wrestling, but I'm sure somebody will come in and talk politics or, but we can talk about Lisa Lampanelli. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I don't find Lisa Lampanelli funny. And I'm a roast comic, so you would think I would like Lisa Lampanelli. I just find her really hacky, and we get it. You like black guys. It's very one note to me. Obviously, she's funny. She's very successful. But all good, Chris. All good. And I did a show with Carol Leifer many years ago. It was me, Carol Leifer, Paul Reiser, and I think one or two other people. But, nice enough. I don't really remember anything about her act. Because it was one, I've done that literally thousands of shows. I think there's a tape of me on YouTube on my channel somewhere. If you scan back and look up Earl Skakel, Hermosa Magic Club, you won't see Carol Leifer. Where is she? I don't know where she is, to be honest with you. That's the only time I've met her. 25 years into comedy, I've done 1 show with her. I don't think she tours a lot, you know, because I don't think she's been on TV, uh, in a minute, so, I think that, someone like her, there's a lot of ageism in comedy. I've certainly experienced it. I mean, I'm 55, and I'm probably one of the funnier people at the Comedy Store, but, there's a lot of younger comics getting past and getting more opportunities than me. It's just the way the business is. I love Colin, very funny. I mean, I was a Norm Macdonald guy, to be honest with you, but, I thought Colin was really funny on SNL. Hit the like button if you can. I don't really care what we talk about. Well, I mean, women had it rough, but, frankly, to be honest with you, I think that I'm in literally the worst category you could be in, um, which is older white dude. Like, I'm not fat. I'm not I'm not a gargoyle, but I'm not like a supermodel either. So it's literally, I think I'm in the worst category you can be in. Older white dude who's not known, but he's semi-established. Like I'm in the middle. It's like being a sports team that's, you're not good, but you're not bad. You're kind of in the middle. So you'll always squeak into the playoffs, but you won't win, but you won't lose enough so you get high draft picks. But you either move on or you don't. You know, you either quit or you move on and keep trying. Old white, but see, I think it is because it's an angle. Older white gay dude. That's an angle. Like being an older white straight dude. It's like, okay, what do we do with this guy? Yeah, he might be able to play the wacky neighbor, but that's about it. But if you're like 500 pounds, you look different. If you're missing an arm, you look different. If you're 22, you don't have 5 minutes of material, they can mold you into what they want. Yeah, I mean, Sandra Bernhard, I haven't seen her. I've never done a show with her, but I like her style. Comedy's it's a weird business. Like, it's almost like being funny works against you. It sounds crazy to say, right? But it's true. Like, I had a meeting with a 25-year-old manager. I was set up from someone very high up in the business. See, I don't think Judy Gold's funny at all. Um, I was on the show I'm Dying up here with her. Nice lady, but I don't find her funny at all. But she probably wouldn't find me funny. Um, she was a little bit of a diva. I like Rita Rudner. Um, but there's a lot of unfunny male comics too. So I like Roseanne when she was. I don't like what she is now. Like this ultra right wing freak. But I think that um, when she like first started off, uh, well, I'm not cracking on Judy Gold. I don't think she's funny. I mean, obviously she's funny. She works a lot, but you like what you like, and so I'm just checking emails while I'm trying to do this. I don't have a producer here, so I've got to burn through all the spam on AOL. It's out of control. But I'm not telling you to not think she's funny. Um, it's just one of those things that, like I love Kiss. A lot of people think Kiss sucks. Who's right? You know? Yeah, I mean, but this 25-year-old manager, she was, so she calls me and she took the meeting with me because of who set up the meeting. And she's like, listen, dude, you're just too old. I can't use you. I'm like, but I'm funny, right? And she's like, "Oh, yeah, your talent's undeniable. You're already an established comedy mind. I don't want that. I want someone like Matt Rife who I can mold into what I want." And, I got what she was saying, and I appreciated her honesty, to be frank, but, she was basically saying, "You already have a point of view. I don't want that. I want someone." It's like making a boy band, you don't want an established group of 5 guys who already are headed in a certain direction. You want 5 young kids who are completely rudderless, who you can mold them. So, welcome to Hollywood. Uh, he does have the world by the ass, and to be honest with you, I don't hate on the guy. He works hard. He's in this, day and age of comedy, it's not about really being funny, it's about getting that viral video or crowd work video or a sketch that goes viral, and, you know, you gotta it's easy it's never been easier to build your own fan base, even with this stream. Yeah, I only have 7 people in here right now, but, it's 7 people, hopefully, one day who will come see me do stand-up somewhere. Um I mean, but I don't like those shows where, like Kill Tony and Legion of Skanks, and I'm friends with all those guys, but where the panels beat up on a comic. I can hang with anyone verbally one on one, but when you look at Legion of Skanks and it's 3 or 4 guys beating up on the guest, and Kill Tony, it's Tony and 3 other people beating up on a guest. It's just not for me. You can't argue the success, but that's why I kind of liked Roast Battle because it was one on one. Uh, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can't hate on the guy for being good looking. Uh, you know, I think every 10 years in comedy, people pick one comic to hate on. 20 years ago it was Dane Cook, 10 years ago it was Chris D'Elia, and now it's Matt Rife. And in another 10 years, there'll be someone else who sucks. I mean, Amy Schumer, around the time D'Elia was getting the hate. So, comedy is a very cyclical business. And, but, I mean, I knew Matt in the LA scene. We're not friends or anything. We're not enemies, but he, I knew him when he couldn't get booked anywhere but on his own show at the Laugh Factory. I mean, literally, he couldn't get into the Comedy Store. I think the highest he ever got in at the Comedy Store was maybe doing Potluck, which is like the open mic. He never got on Friends and Family, and he's not passed. So look who's laughing. Um, Look who's laughing now. The guy's playing theaters. You think he cares about one spot a week at the Comedy Store or anywhere else? I don't know, the AC/DC. I've watched the show enough to, I think, they outnumber their guests. Maybe attack was the wrong word. Uh, but, it's like, it's Gomez, who I love, Dave Smith, Big J, and then usually Zach Amico. So you gotta like try and out talk 3 to 4 comics. I'd rather go on someone's podcast that's one on one. I mean, I don't know enough about Fian. I'm a LA guy. She's a New York girl, but I hear nice things about her. Um, Chip Chipperson. I like Jim Norton. I've not. I honestly, I can't say she sucks AC/DC because I've never really listened to her. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, listen, you can't argue the success of Legion of Skanks. I mean, it's a very successful format. Has, obviously Kill Tony's playing arenas, which is crazy to me. Because I used to do Kill Tony in the early days. I remember one time I did a Kill Tony as the Iron Patriot in the Belly Room. There's like 20 people in there. I'm like, oh, this show's not going to last. So you never know. See, I'm a good podcast guest because I have a lot of wacky stories. Fiana's a great ass. That's all. Well, I don't even know what her ass looks like. I don't really keep myself up to date on New York comics because I'm sure they don't me. Um, you know, I do not know Carrot Top. I think he's a very funny comic. Prop comedy gets shit on, which I think is unfair because you still got to write the jokes. And people think Carrot Top's a has been. You know how much money he makes in Vegas every month? A lot. I mean, I can't, listen, this business, it's so hard to make money. I don't hate on anyone for having an OnlyFans. I really don't. Uh, yeah, I mean, the results are what it is. I mean, you can't deny that it's gone from 20 people in the belly room to selling out Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's crazy to me. Um, and I think it's the perfect show for Tony to be the ringleader in. So, who took a lot of abuse from other comics? Carrot Top? He don't give a fuck. Like he's a multimillionaire. You think he cares what some bitter LA comic thinks about his act? Um, you know, he listen, prop comedy is not for everyone. You know, I'm sure George Carlin would look at Carrot Top and go, "What the fuck is this?" But you know what? There's not very many people, if any, over the last 20 years who've made more money in stand up than Carrot Top. That's a fact. I mean, I thought of having an OnlyFans. Just one picture, my dick pic, and that's it. B40, I believe he does. He is now married to the owner of the ice house. So I'm pretty sure he can um, play there whenever he wants. See, I don't find Kathy Griffin funny at all. Um, well, I mean, listen, you got to, um, listen, I'm a fan of anyone who makes it in this business. I was in the room the night roast battle started when there was literally maybe less than 5 people in the room. It was me, Moses, Kenny Lyon, and Josh Martin, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And look at what that show became. Now, it had a very quick run, 5 seasons on television, 3 on US TV, 2 in the UK, hosted by the guy I beat. Uh, but, I think the problem with Roast Battle was it jumped the shark season 1. I think it's the only show in television history that literally jumped the shark the first season when you had half the cast, um, shouldn't have been on the show. They were like Comedy Central comics, um, who weren't good at roasting. But they all had, like, Comedy Central specials coming out or just released. So I'm sure the theory by Comedy Central was, "Hey, let's get people who are gonna have specials on this show," which in theory would work, but only if they're good at roasting, and they weren't. So who the hell is gonna wanna watch their special now? Um, do you think I mean, I just don't think she's funny. I don't think anyone should be canceled, you know? But that one time she put out 4 specials in a year, it was like they were awful, like but she has a fan base that thinks she's funny, gay men and women, and, like, that's what we're all looking for. That's what I'm looking for in this stream. I wanna find Tim Dillon once told me backstage at the Comedy Store, Earl, all you need is 2,000 fans to have a career. So right now I have 6. Um, so, I mean, I think Jay Moore, like, he's a little lazy as a comic, because he got very successful in the acting world. So, well, I mean, yeah, and I welcome gay fans. I mean, I'm the only straight guy in my building, so, I mean, he's okay. Like, I mean, name me one Jay Moore joke. You can't really. But, he kinda got into that Rob Schneider land where, Rob was a comic first, but then he got successful right away. And Jay, obviously was a comic, but then he started getting TV and movie work, so, he didn't work as much as he should have on his stand-up. But you think Jay Moore gives a shit about what I think about his stand-up? So, I know more boom shakalaka jokes than Jay Moore jokes. Boom shakalaka. Yeah, but, walking impressions are pretty hacky. It's literally the impression equivalent of going, "The difference between white people and black people is they be crazy." You know? I can't do impressions though, so, uh, I admire, people who can. I mean, I've never heard that AC/DC 5150, but, I don't really care about stuff like that. Yeah, David Spade's pretty funny. He's more my style of humor, but that's another guy who, started out as a comic, but then, got pretty successful right away on SNL and TV. And so, you're not gonna like really work on your stand-up when you're making $100,000 a week on a TV show. You probably get an offer as soon as the show stops taping Friday to fly out Saturday, do a theater, and you just fuck around and make another 100 grand at the theater. So I've never used notes on stage, um, except like in a roast, like when I was roasting Shane Doan. And you can find that. It's probably my finest hour. If you, yeah, Spade gets a lot of pussy. There's no doubt about that. But if you look up on YouTube, that is my finest bit of comedy caught on tape. Jay Leno's a pro, but Jay's like, he never forgot who he was, and he basically was doing stand up every night on the Tonight Show. The monologue is basically stand up. So I think his chops were a little better than say, Spade, who's off doing movies and TV shows and talk shows, and then he gets an offer to play Caesar's Palace on a Friday night, and for 100 grand, he's just gonna wing it, which a lot of people do. I will say this: when I was opening up for Rob Schneider, he, we'd do the show, it'd be a big theater. He'd go right up to his hotel room and start writing. Like, he was a pro. I never got to see Bob Hope, unfortunately. But I do like comics of that era, Don Rickles and stuff like that. So, I love Don Rickles. Um, I think it's the best comedy album ever. Don Rickles Live at the Sands, Sands. I believe the audio is on YouTube, and it's only about a 38-minute comedy album, and you could tell it's edited to a degree. But fuck OJ. I hope that cancer was as painful as you could possibly get. Um, I mean, Rickles isn't for everyone. I mean, roast humor is definitely a niche part of the comedy world. You either love it or you don't get it. Like I mean, Foster Brooks roasting Don Rickles is it's like the perfect 5-minute roast set. And of course, Norm Macdonald's um, roast set on Bob Saget's roast was so funny because apparently the producers had told him to be wild and edgy. And he didn't like producers telling him how to do stand up. So he literally was bombing on purpose. David Cross, I don't know who David Sloss is, but I don't know them all. Oh, Dice is a great comic, you know. He's much more than this Hickory Dickory Dock. I don't know Daniel Toss. Are you saying Daniel Tosh? Yeah, I mean Daniel Tosh has been he's honed into a fan base that likes him a lot, and that's what we're all doing here. We're all trying to find a fan base. So yeah, I'll go pay $40 to see Earl, 2 drink minimum, probably $20 to park. It's a lot of money to get people to come to a comedy club. I mean, really, the only English comic I know is Jimmy Carr, who I beat in roast battle. Never got the television show again, thanks to Jeff Ross and his manager. It was literally losing by winning. So, but that's okay. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Yeah, I mean, I would be down with playing a theater in Orlando, but I'm not big enough for someone in Orlando to think that I could fill a theater and fly me down there. But hopefully, I'm self-funding my own special. I'm not asking for money from anyone, and I will be releasing it hopefully by summer. We've shot some of the beginning already. We're going to do some sketches and some nice surprises I hope you guys will like. And, I'm excited to show that to you. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's expensive though. I mean, I'm assuming tickets for the improv are $40, 2 drink minimum. So if you're on a date or you're married, uh, yeah, I agree with that, Dr. Nova. You're basically paying two for everything. So 2 tickets, that's $80. 4 drinks is probably 50, $60. Parking's another 20, probably dinner beforehand. So it's expensive. Uh, Shawnetta, you know of a lot of comics that I've never heard of before. I don't know who Eden is, but they probably don't know who I am. So it's no shade when I say I don't know who they are. I mean, there's in LA alone, there's thousands of comics. Yeah, $150, $155 for a meet and greet. So let's say you and I are on a date and we want to meet David Spade. That's a shade under $400. And that's just the meet and greet ticket. That probably doesn't even include a ticket to the show, plus the 4 drinks, parking, and dinner. I mean, I don't know many people who can spend $400 or $500, if not more, to see stand-up comedy. Malcolm in the Middle. I never saw the middle. I never saw Malcolm in the Middle either. So, I'll take your word that they're funny. I'm too busy, you know, with my own comedy. I don't have time to watch other comics. Well, I've got time. I just don't want to watch them. O'Neill and Ari, they're good people, Dr. Nova. You put out on the first date for your information. Well, send me a picture on Instagram. Hello. By the way, speaking of which, if you guys want to follow me on all social media, it's quite easy. It's just Earl Skakel, at Earl Skakel. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, YouTube. If you're not a subscriber on my YouTube page, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notifications, and then you'll always be first up in the stream. Yes, obliterate the like button. We got 9 people in here, 7 likes. So 2 of you haven't hit the like button. I mean, good for you, Dr. Nova. I have a lot of gay fans. I'm very gay friendly, and that's because when I was a kid, my mom never really left the house, so the hairstylist came over, he was gay, the nail lady came over, she was a lesbian, my mom's wardrobe person, she was, like, I think a dyke, so it's all good. I've been around a long time, Shawnetta. Thank you for checking in as always. And, hit me up on Instagram. Let me see what you look like knowing that you now put out on the first date. "Hello." Just kidding. I'm not creeping on my fans. I don't do that unless you want me to. So confused. I'm at work. Earl is streaming. Have to catch the rerun later. Just wanted to say, what up, Sean Odell? I love straight dudes that are cool. I'm as straight as you can get, and I'm cool. I mean, I do all right with women. It's a vibe I throw out. Am I the most attractive dude in the world? Probably not. But I got a great body for a 55-year-old, and I got personality. I feel any girl's on the table with me if I can talk to them one on one. But you know, it's tough to get one on one with girls at a bar, a nightclub, whatever. But people think I'm an old fat black woman. Well, if you are, that'd be fine too. Yeah, yeah, you gotta have confidence to wear the pants I do. Skin tight leather pants at 55, a t-shirt that's probably a size too small. I mean, I just ordered a t-shirt from the band Steel Panther that says "Pussy Melter" because I thought it was a funny shirt. And if I get it by tomorrow night, I'll wear it on stage with leather pants in front of a sold out arena of comedy fans. Well, comedy club fans. It's not really an arena, but still, the Comedy Store main room. I'll be there tomorrow night, 12:15 on the Button Slick. Is pretty cool when it's full. Pussy money weed, pussy money weed. How's your WAP? Uh, what's your all-time number with chicks? I don't know. I don't really keep track. It's not like I you know, keep a running total, it's been more than most, I'll say that. And I know that sounds like I'm bragging, but I've always done I'm 55, I've been getting laid since I was 21, so that's 34 years of banging. The slick's no joke. Yeah, what are you doing? A little tone loc from Heat? I don't know. I couldn't even begin to calculate. I do okay for myself. I'm not Vince Neil, but that's the bar for do you get laid a lot? Vince Neil's been fucking hot chicks for 50 years. I do okay. If you've seen the dick pic, I can deliver the goods. But I think I've done better than average with women since I got past at the Comedy Store. Like, it's pretty cool to do well at the number one club in the country. And you walk off stage in the leather pants and the leather jacket. It's attractive to women. I once had a girl a couple months ago come up to me, and I think she was with her boyfriend. I don't know who this guy was. um, and she's like, "You have it and I want it, and trust me, she got it." I am like dominoes. I come in under 30 minutes. Boing. Thank you, Dr. Nova. I might have to use that. Um, for 55, I can still hang with the young studs. But I tell the girls who want the booty call, don't call me at 3 in the morning because it works a lot better at 11. I am 55. It's, you know, Father Time is undefeated, if you know what I'm saying, brother. So hit the like button. See, this is what I love about my stream. I come on to talk about AEW, and what is it? 40 minutes later, I'm talking about shooting loads. That's the Earlverse. And I'm doing what Matt Rife did. I'm trying to go viral. All I need is for someone to clip one thing from this stream and it goes viral. Bingo. I'm in Orlando at a theater banging Shawnetta after the show. Ropey lows. Is that what are you, Jeff Richards? Who's a hot comedy chick? You mean like attractive? Let me see. Oh boy, I think Steph Tolev is hot. I think Kim Congdon and Sarah Weinshank. Sophie Buttle. I think that's how you say her name. She's a Canadian comic. Yeah, Sarah's attractive. Sarah Tiana is probably my all-time comedy crush, and we're good friends. So, it depends. I'm not really attracted to Tammy, but, she's probably not attracted to me. I love Rich Voss's wife, Bonnie. She's awesome. Yeah, Whitney's, when I first knew, me and Whitney kind of started together. I like that, Whitney. I have not, Dr. Nova. There's a lot of Feehan's hot. Who else? Eleanor is attractive. Yeah, Bonnie McFarland. Yeah, but she's like kind of nerdy cute. I'm trying to think. I can't really, I woke up not too long ago, so my mind's not as sharp as it used to be. But there's a lot of attractive female comics. Can I say Sydney Sweeney? She's not really a comic, but man, what a set of Malones. Yeah, Nikki's cool. And a lot of the more attractive comics that I know, you guys probably don't know. They're local LA comics, so it's you have to take that into consideration. It's just like most of the funniest comics I know are local LA comics that you guys in the stream have probably never heard of. So there's that. The hogs aren't shop either, but it still gets deep. I don't know what that means, Dr. Nova. You're using a gay terminology. I'll have to, um, I think I should get a pass there, although I know some gay terms. I don't know what that means. If you could see any comic tonight, who would you pick? I don't watch comedy, Shawnetta. So, Norm Macdonald, if he was still alive, he'd be about the only person I would watch. Brian Holtzman, he's now in Austin. Don Barris is someone who I always watch. Yeah, Trailer Park back. See, we go full circle. Getting back to Punk. Well, if Vince McMahon was running the ship in AEW last year at All in London, it would have been the main event would have been CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nova. I'm starting to fade. My caffeine that I ingested about an hour ago is slowly leaving my system. So I might have to cut this stream short. Yeah, I think Gino is like a much edgier Don Rickles. Like he really does go after everyone. Yeah, Steve Martin and Martin Short are pretty legendary. That would be great. Never say never. Who thought WWE would ever buy WCW? Anything is possible in wrestling. So that's why I don't take the storylines too personal or whatever. So I think that's going to be about it for the stream, guys and girl, guys and girl. So if you got any last minute questions, you better fire them now or forever hold your peace. Potluck battle, John Sheezer against Will the Taylor. Who wins? I'll go with the Shees. You two, Trailer Park. Come back anytime and talk AEW wrestling or wrestling in general. I mean, I'm an AEW mark, so I don't really follow WWE that much anymore. And I was much more a NWA WCW guy, Georgia Championship Wrestling as well. Basically, they were the same company. Um, than the WWE. Yeah, I just like the characters more. You know, Nikita Koloff, Kamala, Iceman King Parsons, the Dingo Warrior, uh, the Undertaker when he was Mean Mark Calloway, and I think he was Big Red in some company. Scott Hall when he was the Diamond Stud. Um, yes, enjoy. We'll get to Orlando. Let me know the theaters. Maybe throw my name around the Orlando theater circuit. Now I charge a pretty penny for me to fly to Orlando. Because I've said this before, but a lot of people ask me why I don't do the road more, and it's really quite simple. Because I make a fair amount of money in voiceovers, which I have my trusty Neumann T103 mic right here, and like I was offered to do a weekend about a year ago at a club in Jacksonville for $5,000. Now it might seem like, oh my God, that's a lot of fucking money. But, when you consider, here's how the hourly breaks down. It's about a 4.5 hour flight to Jacksonville. It's a 5.5 hour flight back. So that's 10 hours in a plane just right there. Now to get to LAX for me, depending on traffic, you got to get to LAX 2 hours before your flight. So, it's about at least a half hour to get to LAX, plus the 2 hours you're at the airport. So, with plane time included, you're at 13 and a half hours. And then you figure you got to do morning radio, and that's a couple hours, and uh, any extracurricular stuff, So, you're looking at, for that $5,000, it's about 24 hours worth, and the stand-up time. So before that, you're at about 13, 14 hours of travel, driving, morning radio, and then it was 7 stand-up shows. Now, when I headline, I do about an hour and 15 minutes. So you're at about 24 hours to get that $5,000. And, I did around that same time I got that offer, a full season of a cartoon that never aired. Still might, but it's animation's a tricky vehicle. I got paid $4,850 to do a full season of this cartoon in my underwear at home, 2.5 hours. So that's why I don't do the road that much. Now I don't get gigs like that every month, but I'm just saying, like, for me to come to Orlando, I'm gonna have to be making minimum 10 grand at a theater gig. Yeah, hit the like, please, please hit the mother effing likes. Yeah, I could have been this generation's Art Bell. I have not Shawnetta, but I could probably fill a 300 seater. Because a lot of people just want to see a good comic. They don't necessarily need to know them. And with my name on a flyer, I've been on Comedy Central, so you can put that logo up. I've been on Netflix, you could put that logo up. I've been on Adult Swim and HBO Max, so you can put those logos up. I was on Showtime, I'm Dying Up Here, so you can put that logo up. So that flyer with my name on it, even though I might not be a well-known comic, It's gonna have TV logos on it. I mean, shit, Roast Battle alone's on Comedy Central, and I think it's on Peacock and Paramount Plus. So that's 3, um, logos you could slap on the flyer, and bench warmers, even though probably very few people going to a comedy club have seen bench warmers. It's still a pretty major movie I was in. I love Art Bell. I used to have the best Sunday night. I would write jokes for 3 hours every Sunday night listening to the Matt Drudge show. I loved Drudge. He was so funny to me because Drudge was like kind of like a gay version of Kevin Brennan. Like Drudge is gay in real life, and I don't think a lot of his fan base knew that. So they would call, the callers were the best part. They'd say some pretty homophobic stuff, and Drudge would like troll them, just like Kevin trolls people to pay him for super chats. I got to start figuring that out. Um, so, I would love to be an overnight radio guy because I can talk for an hour, 2 hours easy. I mean, look at most streams. I don't think most streams are very creative these days because they're just stream sniping each other. And it's the same commentary. This guy sucks. This guy doesn't work. This guy's that. And then they bring up kids and wives and spouses who didn't sign on for that shit. At least I'm doing an hour this morning talking about wrestling and comedy, which is what I love doing. You know, um, well, thank you. Spread the word, Shawnetta, and we can one day meet at a stand-up comedy show. I love a sassy, fat black woman. I know I would kill it with the freaks and overnight radio, but so I would listen to Drudge from 7 to 10 on KFI, which is the AM radio station out here, and then he went right into Art Bell. And Art Bell was a troll. He was trolling these people. I remember one time some guy calls up. He's clearly intoxicated from the South. He's like, I think Al Qaeda shot the laser beam at the space shuttle. And Art Bell's like, really now? I could see that happening. Why do you say that, Bill? From Missouri. Yeah, but Phil Henry was too fake. Like, you knew Phil Henry was fake. A fake call, if you will, but the people who called in to Drudge and Art Bell were real, man. That wasn't a setup. Shout out to Jordan the Lion, the main producer of my Earlverse cover art, along with my moderator, the great Kip Smith. He should talk to, well, I mean, no, I disagree, Shawnette. I mean, Kevin has figured out a way to get people to say he sucks, but you got to pay $5 or $10 to tell him that, or he won't read it. Oh yeah, that was the great Will Ospreay. I'm okay with Will Ospreay saying what he said about Triple H. Triple H started it. And a lot of people, as Jordan will tell you, like everyone say, well, AEW should have gone on Pat McAfee's show to rebut, but Pat McAfee's a cuck to the WWE. You think Pat McAfee's going to give Will Ospreay a live mic and say, okay, talk shit about Triple H? Fuck no. He'd never get another WWE wrestler on his show again. Same thing with Ariel Helwani. I think, who's the only AEW guy to been on Ariel Helwani's show? I think it's MJF. So, yeah, I mean, I said it, in a stream last night, Jordan, like Triple H and the WWE, they're the hot chick. And, Ospreay and Okada were the ones who said, no, we're going to go with the fat chick over there. Yeah, but I mean, Kevin's created the art of trolling his own fans and his trolls. Like someone will say, Kevin, you suck. Neil's funnier, but he won't read it unless there's a super chat attached to it. Yeah, I mean, but you can't say Will Ospreay doesn't grind. I mean, this is a guy who lives in the UK. He comes to America, does a show or a vignette, goes back to the UK, Next week he's in Japan, and he's doing 5-star matches. Like his match with Danielson will be 5 stars. He's wrestling twice next week. I forget who he's wrestling on Dynamite this Wednesday. I would be a great heel commentator. Um, Ski mask? I don't know. I don't know what your question is. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's that great promo him and Omega had before their match in New Japan, where basically Ospreay was like, "I grind my ass off, 15-hour flight to Australia, sitting in a hotel room for 2 weeks to wrestle in front of no crowd." Um, yeah, I mean, Kevin's not for everyone, but I'm not for everyone. Um, oh yeah, I mean, I'm done Ski Mask show before. Nice enough guy. I think it was when he was doing the show with Stevie Lou. So I got no problem with those guys. I mean, I just think the whole Dabbleverse is so old. It's like I can go over the Dabbleverse in 10 seconds. Okay, ready? And Kevin's angry. Chad's a thief. Steel Toe sucks. Shuli's cheap. Bob's crazy. And Stuttering John is a drunk. I literally just described to you the Dabbleverse in under 10 seconds. Sue Costello is funny, but they had a falling out. I don't know who Sue Costello is. What do you think of all the raging alcoholism? I mean, it's a tough business. I mean, I'm never had a drink in my life, and frankly, I'm amazed by that. It's constant rejection, and I get rejection twice because not only do I get rejected in the comedy world, I get rejected in the voiceover world, and I have an amazing deep baritone voice. And I'm one of the most working baritone actors in the world, and I still get rejected on probably 98% of the gigs I audition for. Uh, Comedy cliff notes. Hey, listen, you know, I have fun doing these streams. It's building up an audience. Jordan is someone who inspires me. I mean, Jordan, what did you start out with when you were streaming initially? Like you had barely 1,500 people, and now look at your channel. You got 300 and what 40,000 subscribers from literally 1,500, which is about what I started at. Uh, I mean, I'm an animal with rejection. I just plow through it at this point. I mean, I do 3 to 5 voiceover auditions a week. I do them, I send them in, and I forget about them. And it's hard because some of them are fucking for really, Netflix auditions, new Adult Swim cartoons, guest star, recurring characters and main characters. I get a lot of like bad guy auditions and whatnot. So maybe I don't know, Dr. Nova. We got 2 minutes left, guys. 2 minutes. Well, that sounds like comedy to me, Nick. Um, yeah, I mean, drinking is drinking's like gambling. It might feel good in the beginning, but in the end, you will lose. Like that first sip of booze might feel good, but then the next sip, it doesn't taste as good. And then by the time you're on your third or fourth drink, it's just like, okay, what am I doing this for? Same thing with gambling. That's why I never gambled, really. Um, I mean, the last time I gambled, I was with my ex playing blackjack. And I think I lost $100 in like 3 minutes. I'm like, fuck this. I'd rather buy a jacket. Uh, I don't drink. I mean, I don't hate alcoholics or drug addicts. I mean, I've seen people freebase in front of me who are some of my best friends. So, all right, we got 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, baby dolls. And then the Earlverse stream is over. Now, I might do another one later tonight, or I might not. I'm scheduled to be at the Ice House, but they owe me money for the last gig. So daddy ain't getting into his car unless daddy gets paid, bitch. Yeah, thank you. Say that online, Shawnette. I need the fans. Yeah, I mean, 99-cent stores are all closing, so I don't know where I'm gonna get my condoms anymore. Pew! So, we got 5 seconds left before I hit end stream. Follow me everywhere. It's very simple. 100%. Um, that's my philosophy. Uh, yes, spread the word about Earl. Discount. And, you can find me everywhere at Earl Skagel, PayPal, Patreon, Instagram. Instagram and Twitter, where I'm the most active. So if I have a good show, I'll post it on Instagram and Twitter. So I might see you guys later on tonight. Well, there we go. Hold on. An hour in, we get our first super chat. Mason in Portland, a legend in the streaming business. Earl, do you remember the villain Marty Skrull? I don't. What are they from? I don't. Mason in Portland. Who might they be? And thank you for the super chat. I was just about to hit end stream, but now I've got myself thinking, should I stream for a few more minutes? But I don't bilk my fan base for money, so I don't know who that is. Interesting. I don't know who that is. But I didn't know who Dave Barbie was, a legendary jobber in WWF. So, not related to Chandler, by the way. Um, well, yeah, I mean, I could see why he got canceled then. You can't, that's my one line in the sand is no kid diddling in the Earl world. And if you do, you get instant expulsion. So I'm going to hit the end stream now, guys. Thank you, Mason in Portland. I know you're streaming super chat money. There's a lot of options out there, and I do appreciate all those who do super chat or buy memberships. And if you can't, that's okay. You know, there's other ways to support a comic on their stream. You know, you can hit the like button, you can hit subscribe. That's really how you get into the algorithm on YouTube is, um, the more subscribers you have, the better chance you have at being um, cracking the algorithm, if you will. So I do appreciate you guys. And thank you for letting me know of another pedophile in wrestling. They're all over the place. Comedy, wrestling, sports. It's fucking gross. Care about the kids.